So we're working on twists today. We won't need any props. We're going to go for about 40 minutes, just working to release and find a little more space through the spine and the sides of the body. So when we work our way through our deeper twist, we want to remember to exhale to really find a little more space in the midsection. So when you're ready, jump on the mat and we'll begin. Nice work. So we're going to begin today's practice standing at the top of the mat. So when you come on up, just find your feet, so roughly hip width distance apart. You want to find a sense of feeling solid and grounded through the feet, and then if we can, a sense of lightness here in the torso. So maybe lift the toes up off the mat, spread them out nice and wide, and then let them lower back down. So feeling that earth underneath your feet. Feeling this engagement in the legs, so maybe your kneecaps will start to lift up as you flex the quads. Just be here for a moment and letting the arms rest down by the side, the crown of the head to extend up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending where you're practicing. Hopefully it's sunny where you are and you're able to practice outside. That's always nice. Letting your breath be calm and steady. Simple in and out through the nose. You want to allow this idea of the crown of the head continually moving upward as the tailbone descends down. So the longer we're here, the more space we find between each vertebra. The spine is getting longer as we feel more grounded to the earth. And bring our palms to touch. Just taking an inhale together, fill up through your nose. And part your lips, let it go. As we begin to move through, let your inhale reach your arms straight up and overhead. And as we exhale, we'll begin to bow forward, so bend your knees along the way down.
And then interlacing the fingers, taking the back of the head, letting the head drop nice and heavy, just playing with bending one knee and straightening the opposite leg. Just moving from side to side, just like that. We can keep the breath nice and calm throughout the entirety of the practice if we can. Let the hands rest down towards the floor. And on the next inhale, we'll lift up halfway, so get nice and long. And then keep the right leg where it is. Pick up the left leg. Start to extend it back behind you without it touching the floor just yet. So keep the left toes flexing towards the face. Start to bend the right knee a little more. Pop up onto the first two fingers. So you're working a little bit more stability and strength in this right leg as we really work to lengthen and extend that left leg back behind us. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to touch back to a lunge, so left toes touch to the back, get as long as you can. And then we set the left hand down underneath the left shoulder. We want this right thigh to move down towards the floor, the left thigh to lift up. And then we'll spin and start to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So as you find this twist, we want to sit deeper in that right leg, but really start to lift that left knee up and away from the floor, flexing that left glute. Finishing that twist by gazing up towards the right thumb. Feel the opening across the chest, strength across the shoulder blades, and the opening in the front of that left hip. Take a breath in. As we exhale, right hand will come down to the mat. We'll step it back to plank pose. Once you arrive, push the heels back, send the chest forward. Be here for a breath in. As you exhale, we'll drop the knees down. Inhale to send the hips back towards the heels, keeping the toes tucked under. As you exhale, we're going to spring forward through the plank pose, bend the elbows. Take that full push-up. You know we love the push-ups here on this channel. Then lower to the floor. We'll push through the feet. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Once again, feel that opening through the chest. Let the crown of the head reach up. As we exhale, we'll lower the head down. Toes tuck under. We'll press ourselves up and meet back in downward facing dog. So once you arrive, we're going to use our down dogs a little more strategically today. So walking the hands back so that your down dog is shorter. We want to see if we can get those heels a little closer towards the floor here. And then the right arm's going to stay where it is. See if you can take your left hand, catch the back of the right ankle, maybe the calf. And then notice the right hip might immediately fall out to the right hand side. So bend your left knee and then hug that right hip back in towards the midline. Start to gaze under your right armpit. You feel the outside of that right hip starting to lengthen. And breathe in deep to the right side of the body. Last breath. As you exhale, we'll come back. Find our downward facing dog, then just walk those hands forward so we're back in our more natural length dog. Then shuffling left foot a little closer to right. Inhale, reach the right leg straight up and back. As you exhale, let the right knee tap the back of the left arm. So come across the body, find the connection. Then inhale, reach the leg straight up. And as you exhale, we're going to step the foot between the hands. So nice and gently, land that right foot. And then come onto the fingertips again, split the legs, sit nice and deep, lift the chest. Then bend the back knee, or come on up, start to reach the arms up and overhead. So both knees are bent to start with. We're really tugging under the tailbone, lifting that back heel up and off the mat. So engaging through the legs, drawing inner thighs towards each other, keeping the glutes nice and firm. Feel the power in the legs. It's easy to misconstrue that power for frustration and pain to start with, but the longer you're here, the more comfortable it might get. It's not to say it gets any easier, but you get used to being in this space of being uncomfortable, which is good to work on. I want this right thigh to get a little lower. Keep that left knee lifting. And then see if you can keep all that depth in the right thigh to start to straighten out the left leg a little. If you start to really dump into the low back, then of course bend the knee. Maybe even move that chest a little further forward. So keep driving that right thigh down, lifting the left heel high. Take a breath in. Stay for the out breath. And then pushing through that right foot, we'll work to straighten out both legs. And then lean the torso out in front of you, being careful to keep the balance as we fold over the right thigh. Letting the left hip wrap forward, that right hip move backwards so the hips are remaining square to the front of the mat. Back heel will lift nice and high as you begin to fold over that right leg just a little more. Be here for one last breath. Then bend into that right knee, look forward. We're going to step the left foot up to meet the right. Then inhale to lengthen up halfway. Then exhale, you'll bow yourself forward. Then use the in-breath, sweep the arms all the way up, look towards your thumbs. And then exhale, bring the palms together. Inhale again, sweep the arms tall. Exhale, we'll dive down. Again, inhaling to lengthen up halfway, using those fingertips for support. The left leg is going to stay this time. As you pick up the right leg, keep it airborne to start with. Flex the toes. Notice the hips are nice and square, so the right hip is wrapping down. Then bend into the left knee. Come onto the first two fingers, lift the chest a little higher, elevating that right leg. So feeling the left leg starting to wake up. The right leg really working to lift nice and high. Be here for a breath. And as you exhale, touch the right toes back long, find the lunge. Left thigh descending, right thigh ascending. And set that right palm down, start to reach your left arm up. Find that open twist. Wrapping left shoulder blade onto the back, moving that left shoulder head away from the jaw if you can. So the neck stays nice and long. Crown of the head reaching forward, maybe gazing up towards that left thumb. Or maybe finding space to close the eyes if that feels comfortable. Take an in-breath. Stay for the out. And circle left hand down towards the mat. Step yourself back to plank. Once you arrive, we drop those knees together. Inhale, send the hips back, full breath. Exhale, we spring forward, find chaturanga. Inhale, press straight back up. And then as you lower to the floor, we'll push through cobra pose. And if there's space this time, we press up off the floor, find upward facing dog. Full breath in. Downward facing dog as we breathe out. And shuffling those hands back and just a touch like we did before. Allowing the heels to move a little closer towards the floor. Left arm stays where it is. Right hand finds the outside of the left ankle or calf. Then bending that right knee, wrapping the left hip back in towards the midline, gazing under that left armpit. So we're trying to target the stretch down the outer glutes, more specifically the glute med and also the IT band. So not a stretch we very commonly find in our yoga practice. That's why we're really targeting it today during our twisting practice. Last breath. Exhale, we'll come on back. Walking the hands out in front, making that down dog nice and long. Then shuffle right foot a little closer to the left. In breath, reach the left leg straight up. Exhale, left knee finds the right elbow, calm across. See if you can find the connection. And inhale, reach it up, nice and high. Exhale, gently step that foot between the hands. Come onto the fingertips, dive deep into the left thigh, then bend that back knee. Once again, we'll come on up. Find that double bent leg lunge experience. We only get to do this once on either side, so we'll try and embrace it. It won't last forever. The back heel lifts, the back knee lowers. We feel the tailbone tucking under, the navel drawing in, so actively finding more length in the front of that right hip. As you hug the inner thighs towards each other, we encourage the left leg to sit a little bit lower. And we'll be here as we breathe in. We'll embrace the exhale. And keep all that depth in the left thigh, work to straighten the right leg a little at first, just see what happens. Still working to keep the spine nice and long. Encouraging the front of that right hip to start to open. Full breath. Let it go. And slowly press through the left foot. Both legs are straight, and reach your arms out in front. Mindfully folding over that left thigh. Using fingertips for support. And lifting the back heel along the way. As you wrap the right hip forward, we flex the left quad. Maybe fold a little deeper over the front of that left leg. It's always nice to take a little longer in these hamstring openers. Sometimes we need a little more encouragement, especially in the hamstring, so best not to rush. Last breath in. Stay for the out breath. And look forward, gentle bend in the left knee. We're going to step the right foot up to meet the left. When we arrive, first two fingers around the big toes. Inhale to lift your chest up halfway, get long. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, bow your head forwards. Then lean into the toes, bend the knees a touch. Rolling the shoulder blades away from the ears, letting the crown of the head move down towards the floor. If ribs and thighs are still connected, maybe you can straighten the legs a little, pulling on the toes a touch harder. And still keeping that front body connection to the legs. Take one last breath. Stay for the out. We'll gently release the toes. Shuffle the two big toes so they're touching. And just take the first two fingers in front of the feet. Inhale to lift up halfway. And as we exhale, sit nice and deep in the hips. So let the bottom lower, the chest rise, and then inhale, reach the arms up. Find your Utkatasana. So in our chair pose today, we're going to work to find a twist. So send the hips back in space first. Keep the chest lifting. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, just bring your palms together in front of your heart. Now for today, we're going to make a fist with the left hand and press that left fist into the right open palm, creating a straight line from elbow to elbow. Take another inhale. As you exhale, just turn your torso off towards the right hand side. But notice we still want the heart to be higher than the hips. Look down at the knees, keep the left hip hugging in, the right knee wrapping forward. Now take another breath here. And as you exhale, connect that left arm to the outside of your right thigh. Now pressing that right palm into the left fist, maybe you can gaze up over that right shoulder. Still working to hug that left hip in. Keep the bottom lower than the heart. Crown of the head extending forwards, maybe gazing up towards the ceiling. Feeling the navel pull in. If your legs are on fire, don't worry, you're not the only one. Take a breath. Stay for the out breath. Then legs stay where they are. Inhale, reach the arms up, find Utkatasana. Then exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward over the thigh. Oh, so good. So these are really going to fire up the legs. That's why we did those lunges beforehand, so the legs wouldn't be shocked once we got to those Utkatasana chair poses. We have one more to go. We will be twisting to the left side this time. So when you're ready, and take a breath to prepare, breathe in. And let it go. And first two fingers in front of the feet. Inhale to lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, sit the hips deep, start to reach the arms up. Find your chair pose. Now like we did before, palms will come together at heart. This time we make a fist with the right hand, press it into the left palm, straight line from elbow to elbow. Keep the heart lifting nice and high. On your exhale, start to twist to the left. The chest will start to turn to the left-hand side, but the hips are still sitting back in space. Hugging the right hip in, left knee forwards. Take another breath. Exhale, set the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Quick gaze at the knees. If you really start to feel yourself going haywire, actively hug that right hip in. And sit down lower, push the palm into the fist, gaze up over that left shoulder. Creating straight line from elbow to elbow, sitting hips back in space to lift the chest. Be here for an inhale. Stay for the breath out. Then legs stay, come back to center, reach the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, straighten the legs to fold. Nice work. From here, we'll shuffle the feet hip width distance apart. If we can, taking the palm, resting it underneath the sole of the foot there. Like we did in our very first forward fold, you can play with straightening one leg and bending the opposite knee, just moving from side to side like that. Allowing the breath to return back to its natural state. Letting the tension go in the neck. When we're ready, we'll release the hands. Take a halfway lift. And sit our hips down nice and low. We'll find Malasana. So letting the weight move towards the heels. Let the chest lift nice and high. And just let the back of your arms rest on top of your knees there. And from here, we start to lower ourselves down onto our bottom. Once we arrive, extending the left leg out nice in front and long in front, letting the left heel stay floating up and off the mat. And then start to lower down onto the back. We'll take the right leg up towards the sky. Then from here, we'll reach both hands up towards that right foot. Take a breath in. Then exhale, crunch up to reach for that right foot. Inhale, we come back. Exhale, we crunch up.
Inhale, we come back. Exhale, we crunch for 3. I'm going to do 6 of those. Inhale, return. Exhale for 4. Inhale, return. Exhale for 5. Inhale, return. Exhale for 6. Now as we lower our chest down, take the palms pressed together, and then shoot both palms to the outside of your right leg. We'll lift the chest as much as we can. Legs stay the same shape. From here, take a breath in. Then exhale, just pulse to lift the tailbone for 6, for 5, keeping those feet nice and flexed, for 4, for 3, 2, and on 1. Take both legs up towards the sky, reach both hands up towards the feet, flexing the toes towards the face, reaching those hands up towards the toes. So aiming to get the tailbone as well as the shoulder blades lifting up and off the mat. We're going to be here for 6. For 5, keep reaching. For 4, for 3, 2, on 1. Lower that right heel 1 inch away from the floor. So legs stay where they are, like we did before. Take a breath in. Exhale, crunch up to reach for the left foot. That's 6, for 5, 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Take both arms to the outside of that left thigh. Keep the chest lifting. My goodness, this is hard. Take a breath in. Exhale, pulse to lift the tailbone. For 6, for 5, you got it. For 4, keep reaching those arms. For 3, for 2, and 1. Both legs, both arms up towards the sky. This is our last run. Flex the feet, lift everything. We're here for 6, for 5, 4, lift a little more for 3, 2, and 1. Let everything soften onto the mat. My goodness. I hope I'm not the only one feeling that in my midsection. Quite often I can underestimate just how challenging some of that core work can be. That's why we do it together, right? And just to rinse out through the front body, set the feet underneath the knees. Start to roll the hips up and off the mat. Just interlace your hands behind the back. Hug the thighs towards each other. Let the chest move back towards the chin. Interlace the hands if it's there. Take one last breath. And the exhale will gently release and lower down. From here, we came from Malasana, we return towards Malasana. So you can reach the arms back behind you, hug the knees into chest. Then on the inhale, we lift the bottom, and exhale, bring the arms forward to lift the hips. And like we did when we were here the first time, take the back of the arms to the knees. If you want to take your crow pose here, lift the hips, set the hands down. Keep the elbows hugging in as you lean forward. Maybe one foot lifts, squeeze the heel to bottom. If both feet lift, squeeze both heels in. Now, draw the knees in, draw the elbows in. Keep the chest moving forward. You're here for 5, 4, for 3, 2, and on 1. Take it back to Chaturanga. Enjoy a push-up there. Come to the floor and press for Cobra pose. Take a breath in here. So be in this Cobra pose. Keep lifting the chest. Feel the front body lifting. Opening through the midsection. Take another breath in, hug the elbows towards each other. Exhale, we'll bend the elbows, drop the forehead. And keep the hands where they are, underneath the elbows. Just to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then push straight up and back. We'll find downward facing dog. When we arrive, left foot will shuffle a little closer to the right. Inhale, reach the right leg straight up and back. As you exhale, right knee will find the left elbow. Once it gets there, we'll extend the right leg out to the left-hand side. Keep the shoulders nice and square, maybe shuffle that left foot backwards a touch, and start to extend the left arm out in front of you. So wrapping that left shoulder down, pushing through the right foot to lift the right hip just a little.
Flexing right toes towards the face. Feel that length through the outside of that right hip. Keep the chest moving forward, left heel pressing back. Be here for one last breath. Stay for the out. And set the left hand down. Pick up that right leg, shoot it back up towards the sky. Big breath. And as we exhale, gently step that right foot between the hands. Coming onto the fingertips, we'll bend the back knee, start to reach the arms up. We've been here before, the double bent leg lunge. From here, setting up for a twist. So palms come together first, maybe left fist presses against the right palm. Then we're going to start to lean our torso forward. As we do, we straighten the back leg, just like we did before. Now we take an inhale. And as we exhale, we turn the torso to the right hand side. Keep straightening the back leg, bending the front leg, and then set your left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. So splitting the legs as best we can. Maybe gazing up over that right shoulder. Feeling the left heel lift as the right thigh descends. Scissoring inner thighs towards each other. Straight line from one elbow to the next. Be here for a breath in. Twist a little more on the exhale. And very gently, gaze down towards the mat, lower that back knee, and reach the arms up towards the sky. Come back to center. And as we exhale, we'll take hands to earth, work to straighten that right leg, and fold over the right thigh. So coming into your expression of the Ardha Hanuman, or halfway split. If you have more space, you can extend the left knee further backwards. We want our chest to stay lifting. Right toes flexing towards the face. Maybe a gentle shift and rock from side to side just to see what that feels like. One last breath here. Gently let it go. And from here, we're going to roll off onto the outside edge of the right foot. Swing that left leg out in front of you. So now both legs are nice and long in front of you. From here, we're going to bend up the left knee first. And if we can, take the right foot to the outside of your left thigh. So working to keep both sitting bones evenly grounded on the mat and the right foot pressing flat onto the earth. We'll set those right fingertips back behind us. Inhale to reach your left arm straight up. And as we exhale, hook the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Just take a gentle gaze back over your right shoulder. So you could be on your right fingertips, or you could have the right palm flat. We just want to stop ourselves from falling backwards. So we want to find this element of lift and opening, so you can press the outside of that left arm against the right thigh. Take a full breath in. Just a little more on the exhale. And we'll gently bring ourselves around to center. Left leg is going to stay where it is. Lean forward to take the right knee and cross it all the way on top of the left. And then we'll sit the hips back down onto the mat. So now the right knee is on top of the left, or thereabouts, whatever's feeling good for you today. They may be nowhere near each other, that's okay. But both sitting bones are grounded. Set the fingertips in front of the shins. Take a breath in. And exhale to start to walk your hands forward to wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe resting your chin on the right knee or the forehead. Letting your torso be heavy against the thighs here. Take one last breath in. Let it out. And as you bring yourself back up to a seat, to take ourselves back to downward facing dog. If you want, you can simply roll forward and uncross the legs. If you want to challenge yourself, We'll lift onto that left knee, ground the palms flat, and then try and shoot the legs back to chaturanga. Take a push-up and lower to the floor. Pressing off, finding upward facing dog, deep breath in. And exhale to take it back, find downward facing dog. Right foot shuffles closer to left, inhale, left leg will reach straight up and back. Exhale, left knee will find the right elbow, so come across the body, then extend the left leg out to the right hand side, shuffling that right foot back. Getting long in your awkward, funky plank position, and maybe reaching that right arm forward, wrapping the right shoulder down, trying to push through the left foot just to lift that outer left hip away from the mat just a little. Keep the chest shooting forward, crown of the head reaching forward. Be comfortable being uncomfortable for just a moment. Feel stability in the instability if you can. Push through that left hand, wrap that right shoulder down, take one last breath. Stay for the out. And right hand finds the mat. We pick up the left foot, shoot it up towards the sky, breath in. And as we exhale, gently step that left foot forward, find that double bent leg lunge, reach the arms up nice and tall. We want our lunge to be a little longer, so maybe shimmy the feet. The right foot will shuffle backwards. And then when you find your length in your stance, palms pressed together at heart. Fist with the right hand on the left open palm. And as we lean forward, right leg will straighten. Sit deep in that left thigh. Take a breath. Exhale, turn the torso to the left hand side. Keep that inner left thigh hugging back in towards the midline, so we keep this activity through the inner thighs. Then on the next exhale, right elbow will find the outside of that left thigh. We keep working to straighten that back leg as we sit deeper in that left thigh. And push that fist onto the palm, see if we can lift the chest, extending the crown of the head forward, maybe gazing up to the ceiling. Feel the navel drawing into midline to support the midsection. Take one last breath. Then gently look down towards the mat, lower the back. Circle hands up towards the sky, big breath in. As we exhale, fingertips find the mat. We work to extend that left leg out in front of us. Find your expression, your variation of the Ardha Hanuman. So just working to come out of the bent knee experience in the front leg, giving yourself a chance to find some length in that left leg. Hugging and wrapping that right hip forward. Keeping the chest elevating, left toes flexing. Take 2 more breaths. Last breath in. And we'll gently fall off onto the outside edge of the left hip. Swing the right leg all the way around in front of us. Readjust your bottom if you need to. And this time we're going to bend up the right knee first and work to take the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. And you can use your hands to grab the shins to pop them into place there. So sitting bones grounding equally, left foot firm and flat. We'll take the left fingers behind us. Inhale, reach that right arm up. And as you exhale, we'll hook the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Find an element of lift as you twist back over that left shoulder. And if you can, keep that right hand or right fingers pointing up towards the ceiling and get a little action in the muscles of the right arm so you can really push those two against each other to find a little more twist there. So each time we're breathing in, crown of the head is extending. Each time we breathe out, we're finding just a little more twist. And once we're ready to unravel, we'll come back to center. Start to lean forward. Like to set the left knee on top of the right.
or thereabouts, and send the hips back towards the heels. Again, if they're nowhere near, it doesn't really matter. If you want to use your hands to try and shimmy them a little closer on top of each other, that's completely fine. Find a nice, even seat, lift the chest, take a breath in. And as we exhale, we walk the arms forward to a space where they're comfortable, and just allow yourself to rest. Again, you can drop your head. And the reason I'm avoiding that right now is just I don't want the sound to become too muffled. So if there's space for you to drop your head there, you'll get a little more length through the spine, the back of the neck. Your torso be heavy. Feel that length through the outer left hip. Take one last breath. As we slowly come up to a seat. This time we just want to extend both legs out long in front. So left leg first, followed by right. Give them a little shake out. And readjust your hips so you're sitting nice and flat on the mat. Torso will rise, we'll pull the shoulders back, reach the arms up, inhale. And then exhale to dive forward. So reaching past the feet. Even if you can't reach past the feet, just imagine you're trying to reach past the feet. And let the elbows fall to the outside of the shins, let the toes flex, and the head drop heavy. Taking final breath where you are. And after your exhale, you'll begin to come back up to a seat. Just lower yourself all the way down onto your back. You may need to scoot your bottom forward so you have lots of mat behind you. Once we come on down, left leg will extend. Squeeze the right knee into chest, take a breath. And let that right knee open out to the right hand side first. Extending your left arm out towards the left, finding an opening in the hips. And then from here, crossing the right knee over the left hand side, falling to the outside edge of the left hip. If you have more space here, I encourage you to take your left hand to the outside of your right foot and extend the right leg. Stamping your left heel to the front of the room. And then if you have the foot, we take the right thumb, rest it in the right hip crease, and gently push that right hip away from you. Still working, if we can, to keep the right shoulder blade grounded onto the mat. And when it's time to release the foot first, rebend the right knee, and then ground your right foot down to readjust your hips. So perhaps shuffling them a little more to the left-hand side as you extend the right leg long. This time we give the left knee a squeeze, so draw it in. And let it open out towards the left-hand side, extending the right arm out towards the right. And then from here, crossing that left knee over to the right-hand side, really falling to the outside edge of the right. And if we did on the previous side, you catch the outside of the left foot, extend the left leg. Stamp that right heel forward so both legs are straight. And then take your left thumb into the left hip crease. See if you can gently move that left hip away from you. Again, releasing through the outer left hip there. Left shoulder blades still working to stay grounded or close to the ground. Take a final breath. Release the foot, rebend the knee. As you come back to center. And prepare for our final resting pose. So just squeeze both knees into chest without using your hands. And then cradle the back of the head with the hands and lift your forehead in towards your knees. Just moving the knees from side to side, almost massaging the low back onto the mat. Take a full breath. And as you exhale, let yourself completely release onto the mat. Taking up space, letting fingers curl in, toes fall out. Now, as always, you've worked very hard in today's practice. I'm always going to encourage you to stay there in Shavasana for as long as you have available. If that means 2 minutes, great. If that means 5, 10, 20 minutes, fantastic. Whatever time you have, stay there. Enjoy the stillness, enjoy the silence. As always, I want to thank you so much for practicing. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.